Hello, if you are having trouble with home week 15's second homework assignment and you are trying to do it in Google Classroom versus in Kami, for number 1, 2, and 3, and 4, you are looking at the graphs and you are trying to write the inequalities. So you can, if you want, just to type it in using the text box. You could also, if you're trying to do an inequality symbol and let's say it's an equal sign, if there's an equal sign underneath, you can just either use the inequalities that are the keys that you see on your screen where there's a comma or there's a period. Just hit the shift in one of those keys. And if you want it to be equal to symbol, you can just highlight it and click underline where it says shows the U, and then you can make it underline that way. The absolute value symbol, if you see that there's the enter key on the right side of your keyboard, there's a slash key. If you hit shift and hit that slash key, it will make the absolute value symbol as well. Just make sure that you unclick the underline thing and just hit shift and then the key that's above the enter or it's below, it's in between the enter and the backspace key on the right side. If you are looking at the graphs and you prefer to graph it in Google Classroom, you see here that there's this line option. If you just click this line option, you'll just graph a line with no ends on it. If you don't like what you did, you can hit this undo button. Or if you hit the arrow, you see there's several options here. You can scribble on it if you want. You can use the sign segment. I'm going to use the arrow because there's 2 arrows here. I know that if I want to graph a point, I want to do my shape first. I'm going to go to shape and hit a circle. I'm going to go above and beyond and I graph this. I'm just going to make it all up and say that it's at this spot right here. Okay. I'm just going to make it solid so it sticks out. So I graphed a point. I'm not following the example that they gave me. And let's say there is no equal sign in my example. I'm going to do a line with arrows. Let's say it looks like this. Okay. Notice there should be arrows on both sides. You'll see here if there's arrows on both sides. This side is missing an arrow. So you're going to click whatever arrow you like. And then you can click out of it. If you think it's too thin, you can make it thicker by the thin weight. I'm just going to make it, say, 4. That's a good size. Make sure you extend it so that it's going through the whole graph if you didn't. And then what you're going to do, if there is no equal sign in my inequality, we have to make sure it's dashed. So you can change the actual line itself into a dash one, so you can use that one. I prefer to use one that has a little thicker lines. So any one of these is a good example. Let's just use that one. And then to shade, you can, if you want, you can use this arrow thing again and go to scribble. And I would change the color if you want to, which I don't see as an option to change. Let's see what happens if I scribble. And I'm just scribbling. I'm just making it up. Say I had to shade it below, so I'm going to shade it over here. And there you go. You can scribble it that way. Or what you can do is go to the shapes and just pick any shape you want that I guess will somewhat shade that side. That's not going to be a good shape. I'm going to have to rotate it. I'm going to change the color so it's obvious that I shaded. I'm just going to illustrate that this side is the one that's shaded. Either method is fine. Scribbling is easier, but to each their own. If you want to change the color of it, you can. Just click on the scribble and change the color. It changes the color. If it's too thin for you, you can make it thicker. Let's say 16. Oh, there we go. That's much easier to look at. All right. For the V1s, if you look at this example right here, you're going to do the same thing, but you have to have 2 different rays. So let's say my vertex, I'm going to go to hit shapes and click a circle. And let's say my vertex is over here. I'm not actually following any example, all right? So don't get confused. If you didn't put it in the right spot, you can move it using your key markers. And then we're going to make a V. So just pretend the slope has a slope of 1 to 1. I'm going to hit the arrow button. And at my circle, let's say it's a slope of 1 to 1. So I'm going to follow it like that. That's a 1 to 1 slope. And let's say that I don't like my thickness. I'll go to 4. And let's say there is an equal sign. Or this example here, there is none. So I'm just going to actually make it this one a dashed. But if there is an equal sign, it would be solid. You can do that. And then you have to do it again on the other side. So then you're going to do this way, but you're going to make it a 1 to 1 slope, but the opposite direction. So there we go. It's too thin, so I'll make it 4. And we said it's dashed, so it'll go like that. All right. And then we need a shade. So let's say that it said a less than symbol. So we're going to shade below. It's less than, it's smaller. So I'm just going to do the scribble again. And I'm going to shade my V everywhere below. I'll try to do this all in one animation so I don't have to highlight different colors at the same time. I'm going to shade the best I can without moving my mouse. You can do it with moving your mouse. I mean, lifting your key, that's fine. I'm just trying to do it quickly. And then change my width. Oh, I don't know what just happened. Oh, okay. Redo. Let's go like that. Now that I'm not actually selecting the graph. And I shaded almost everywhere the best I can. And if you think it's too thin, and if it doesn't show up, like it's not showing up, just make sure that you have a color selected. All right, scribble. Scribble. Oh, I hit the wrong one. So trial and error sometimes with these things, especially since we're not graphing often on the computer. There we go. And I don't like my thickness, so I'm gonna make it thicker. And there we go. Okay.